Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Journey to Justice. My name is Robert. I'm a former graduate student from the University of Miami. I'm a registered nurse. I went to UM to obtain a degree in anesthesia to become a nurse anesthetist. This was a 3-year program, and I did almost the entire program, and I was dismissed 2 months before graduating in a discriminatory fashion. So I'm here on YouTube telling my story, hopefully to bring the awareness to parents and potential graduate and undergraduate students who are looking to attend a private or even a public university, but particularly private and specifically University of Miami. You want to know these things if you're a minority, if you of a minority group. These things can happen. In addition to your tuition dollars, you want to make sure you have money for a legal defense should you find yourself in the position that I recently found myself in and continue to deal with. So, as I mentioned, I'm a registered nurse. I been a nurse 11 years, and I got into this program roughly with 3 years of ICU critical care experience to become a nurse anesthetist. I spent over $360,000 to get to the last 2 months of the program when I was dismissed. So, since my dismissal, I filed a lawsuit. I have been in court with UM, and unfortunately, this nightmare has just begun. So, I was recently in South Florida, May 17th, 18th, and 19th. I was publicly demonstrating because I'm beginning to experience some mild censorship on TikTok and YouTube. They don't like words such as protest and stuff. So it was a public demonstration, basically expressing my what happened to me and how I disagree with what is going on. So my demise begun at Mount Sinai. That's why I was in front of Mount Sinai. I did a short interview with this young kid. He must have been like 11 or 10 years old, white little boy on his scooter. He saw me and he asked to interview me, and I'm gonna post that. You can see it at the end of this video. And before we continue, I'm asking you to like, subscribe, and share my videos. Part of the reason why I decided to hit the streets is to get the entire population. I know on YouTube and TikTok there's a certain demographic, but there are people in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that are not so into YouTube and TikTok. So that's the demographic I'm now trying to reach. I was in front of Mount Sinai, very busy intersection, four-way intersection. I must have been seen by at least 1,000 cars an hour. But unfortunately, I did some short demonstrations. So on this return I'm doing next month, I'll be in front of both facilities. One in the morning and the other one in the evening. While I'm there, let me just go over the schedule. So June the 8th, I'll be in South Florida. I'll be in front of Mount Sinai from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Friday, June the 9th, I'll be in front of UM from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. In the evening, I'm going to Mount Sinai, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, the 10th, 8 p.m. to 1 p.m. in front of Mount Sinai. Might do UM that evening, but I'm skipping Sunday. And Monday, the 12th, I'll be in front of Mount UM, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. Mount Sinai, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. All on Mondays. And Tuesdays, the 13th, I'll be in front of Mount Sinai from 7 a.m. to roughly 3 p.m. So that Tuesday, I'm doing all Mount Sinai. In addition to reaching this separate demographic, the love and the support from the streets is different from the internet. The honking and the pictures, and several people stopped by. Some even tried to hand me money, which I respectfully refused. And some people asked me if I had GoFundMe, and there was this young lady in front of UM. You can almost like the emotion and the sorrow in her eyes and the way she spoke to me was almost like palpable, white young lady, right? Um, which also bring me to this point that uh, this country is an awesome country. The human spirit is absolutely phenomenal. Though I have this issue with the University of Miami and its professors, more than half were Hispanics, some whites, but I'm not so short sighted to think that Hispanics are racist or all white people are racist. That is far from the truth. There are a lot of great people out there, right? So while I'm on this topic, my demise started at Mount Sinai. I was a senior student. I was sent to Mount Sinai by UM. Mount Sinai is one of the clinical sites. I went to Mount Sinai for 16 weeks. Within 2 weeks, I was dismissed by this gentleman by the name of Jean-Pierre Mato. He's a Cuban guy, right? So he kicked me out within 2 weeks, and his claim was communication failures. To me, it seems discriminatory and racist in nature. I was the only black guy in a group of 12 to 15 students that he did this to. Never worked with me, collected a bunch of fake stories behind my back from staff and students, and created this long email, just very discriminatory and just like outright shady in nature, right? No unprofessional behavior from my part, no wrong medications given to any of the patients, no issues with any of the doctors. He just kicked me out, senior student, kicked me out within 2 weeks. I went back to UM. I told them what happened. Actually, they knew because he sent them a long email to kick me out. Instead of them asking me, putting me in a different clinical site, they asked me to resign. That's Dr. Gonzalez asked me to resign. I said no, and then he continued this discriminatory act from Mount Sinai and created a bunch of fake documents to eventually kick me out. Hence, why we're here today, after I attempted to appeal his decision, that didn't work out because the whole appeal process is just misleading in nature, right? My impression of the appeal process is to prevent lawsuits, right? Is to simulate the setting of a jury in the courthouse and prevent lawsuits. But the policy is that the top dean of the university has the power to overrule what the committee decides and still do whatever he wants. So we are speaking about roughly, when I counted today, was like 10 individuals. Dr. Mary Hushman, associate dean, older white lady in her 60s, right? Juan Gonzalez Cuban, which is the program director. Gonzaga Gomez, some Filipino in background, but she has a Hispanic last name. I believe her spouse is partly Hispanic. I'm not too sure about that. Greta Vladanova Mitsova is a white lady from some Eastern European country by the name of Bulgaria. Sandy Monroe is the dean of the nursing school. Jean-Pierre Mato is that Cuban guy from Mount Sinai. Guillermo Prado is the top dean of the university, the guy who made that final decision, right? Overruling the committee, right? And then you have Julio Frank, which is a Mexican. That's the president of the university. He's Mexican gentleman. And even after my final dismissal, we went to court. We ended up with a Cuban judge. This gentleman did not really take his time to really read the documents and really take his time and see the merit of my case, because I believe my attorney put together a very thorough case, and just absolutely neglected my case, dismissed my case wrong, unfairly, and allegedly, my opinion. And also the assistant to Dr. Prado is this, it appears, I think she's Cuban, by the name of Tatiana Perino. So, you hear about most universities have a Black Student Association, right? UM is no different. There's a Black Student Association at UM. But when these things happen, I believe I attempted to reach out to them, didn't hear anything. If I tried today, I can assure you that they would do the same and not respond to my email. So, surrounded by roughly 6 to 7 to 8 Cuban or Hispanics in background and white professors, who would you say is there to advocate for me as a African American slash Haitian minority male student, surrounded by all these unfair individuals that are discriminating, right? No one. Basically, it's just me and the court and the attorneys and all the bureaucracy and the all the delays that come with such an intense situation. So, once again, I'm here on YouTube to expose that, to speak about that, to warn the future graduate student. I recently attended a graduation from a good friend of ours. Her daughter graduated high school. You want to watch for things, for these types of universities. You want to do your research and really even go out in the court system to search to see if this university has been sued for discrimination and these types of abuse on minority students and employees. I often talk about another thing I'd like to bring to your attention is that in the past videos I spoke about the money that University of Miami makes every single year. I think in 2020 they made $4.25 billion. I don't say that with any animosity or any hatred. I have no problem with capitalism. I have entrepreneurial tendencies myself. Long live University of Miami and Mount Sinai. And I hope and pray that their income triples in the future and that they go to $12 billion. Also Mount Sinai. And I want them to do well and serve the community. My problem is a university or a company or an institution this successful should not be so adamant on destroying the life of one single minority student. I've given the time, I've spent the money, I've studied, and my grades were intact. If not for just ideology or being selfish, I can't see a justification for what they're doing, paying fancy lawyers to lie to judges and mounting a case on just falsified documentation, claiming that I'm not competent, and which is all lies because the evidence simply doesn't support their claims, right? This is what I mean when I speak about this dark side of our of human nature, this dark corner in the human soul, right? My degree is not a threat to any of the professors. My success is not a threat to the university. I'm just one guy trying to get my degree. It's not like I'm some sort of competition or some other hospital that university has to put out of business. So if this is not for narcissistic, egocentric, just for the whims of these malicious professors, I don't see why they should be fighting adamant fighting such of a brutal fight. Just one student who's just trying to get what he has paid for. Speaking about me. So this is extremely important for this message to spread. Let's get back to this troll that I recently encountered. This man was anonymous. He didn't give me his name. He didn't tell me his profession. I think I always ask them if they're attorneys when they're giving me all this legal advice. First of all, they're not my attorney, and then they won't tell me whether they're an attorney or not. Telling me about defamation of character. I would love for UM to sue me in court. For me to lay out why I call these professors racist, why I say they're discriminating. Um, eh, the evidence is simply not there to support what they're doing. And more importantly, I'm not lying. This is my experience, and I have the receipts to prove it. UM has done this to other Haitian students. Um, uh, Pardon me, this former professor, former program director at UM, has done this to other Haitian students, and I've heard about and have seen multiple students who have been removed unfairly, minority students returning and leaving while I was there, and the same issue that I experienced, I watched it happen to them. Though they were very quiet, they wouldn't speak about these things, and fear of retaliation, but I somewhat saw what they were going through. And even those who graduated before they can get the degree, they went through hell and back, more trouble than their counterparts, their Hispanic classmates and white classmates. So I know what I'm talking about, and I have the receipt. There's no, I'm not here to defame UM or any of its professors. What I'm saying is my experience. So once again, visit me on TikTok. My TikTok channel is the @ We Will Fight UM. This YouTube channel is, I recently changed the channel's name to Shame on You, which is shame on dash the letter U, hyphen the letter U. I'm asking you to just share my story, and then just like and subscribe, so that hopefully someone with a bigger platform can come across my video and help share this message further. So once again, I'll be in South Florida for about 5 days. June 8th, 9th, 10th, and I'm skipping 11th. I believe that's a Sunday, and I'm gonna go back 12th and 13th in front of Mount Sinai in UM. Longer hours. I'm gonna have external battery and a device holder to capture my demonstration, and I'll be live on TikTok, so I can just get click, and grow the channel, and also get the attention of the pedestrians, and just raise awareness. Having said that, thank you for watching. I'm gonna ask you, after this video, I'm gonna post this other video of this young man, this 10, 11-year-old young kid that spoke to me in front of Mount Sinai, so you could see. One last thing I'd like to mention. I was there. Security guard from Mount Sinai approached me, asking me, convince me to just leave. At first, she pretended that she wanted to listen, wanted to be a caring individual, and wanted to, kind of like this customer service. Okay, you're right, and but then she was just, no. When after she listened, and she said, what you're doing is not helping your case. And then I asked her, so what do you mean? Like, then she said, I understand this and this. You had issues with UM, but what you're doing is not with UM. I said, no, not just UM. This whole thing started here. No, we are not we have a bunch of black employees and this and that. I said, having black employees doesn't mean that you treat them right. Well, Mount Sinai is one of the lowest paid hospital for nurse anesthetists in South Florida. That's not treating black people right. Anyways, we ended up. I asked her, "Do you understand what the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution?" She didn't quite understand. I said, "You understand things about statute of limitation with lawsuits and stuff like that?" She didn't understand. I said, well, if you're not here to speak with me and hear my story, if you think you're gonna come here to just push me off this public sidewalk, you're wasting my time. You can go back inside. You can go back to your air conditioned booth and enjoy the rest of your day. Just let me go on about my business because you're wasting my time. So then she walked away. It was her and this other security guard, this other big guy. Anyway, I'm on a public sidewalk. They don't understand. She's saying I can't have you in front of here. I said no. This is a public sidewalk. You know, I guess you assumed that I was some kind of like dimwit, so wouldn't understand my rights. So yeah, public property. I'm peaceful. I'm not blocking traffic. I'm not yelling and screaming and cussing anybody out. Very respectful to all their clients coming into the facility. I'm just showing my sign. That's it. So yeah, I intend to do that, and I intend to do it for many more days and longer hours. Having said that, watch this video with this young kid who came and wanted to know why I was in front of the university, in front of Mount Sinai, with my message. Thank you for watching.
This guy has a sign right next to Mount Sinai saying Mount Sinai is a racist hospital. I want to interview him. You're out here with signs saying that Mount Sinai, the hospital, is racist. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Basically, Mount Sinai, together with the University of Miami, is the reason why I'm here today. I went to the University of Miami for anesthesia school, and they sent me here for clinical. I was sent here for 16 weeks clinical rotation. Within 2 weeks, I was dismissed from this hospital for quote-unquote communication failures. Basically, when things like this happen, obviously, you know it's not just communication issues. Because when to dismiss a senior student from such an expensive program based on clinical issues, you know that's not the problem. And more importantly, I was the only one to be removed from Mount Sinai out of a group of 13, 15 students. So, and another point to make is that I'm not the first one that they have done this to, right? So basically, when I was kicked out of Mount Sinai for this quote unquote communication failures, I went to back to UM, and instead of UM finding me another site, they asked me to resign. When I refused to resign, then they create a bunch of additional fake clinical documents to justify my removal. Since my final dismissal from UM, I've hired an attorney. I've paid over $70,000 for legal fees. And instead of UM settling the case, trying to find a mutual understanding, a mutual ground to settle this situation, they continue to fight me in court to uphold the reality which is racist in nature. So that's why I'm here. I have a YouTube channel also. I'm also on TikTok.
Really? What is it called?
My YouTube channel is Shame on You. So Shame on You with a dash, right?
Okay.
There's a dash before the U. It's just the letter U. And my TikTok channel is We Will Fight You Win.